This is a 164 Hot Wheels Nissan Skyline van. Ever since Hot Wheels released this casting, I've always kept it. And the reason why I've kept it, because this thing is so rare, I've never actually seen it in real life. But that's all about to change today. So let's start, of course, with the shape. And I really think that the shape looks really good. I love the shape. Now, Hako in Japanese means box or boxy, which is what is known with the Hakosuka, be it the coupe or the sedan version. But when it comes to the wagon form like this, I think it looks even better and even more accentuated to the name that is boxy. From front to back, the car is so edgy, it's so squarish, and it looks so good in wagon form. It's so proportionate, I think, from front to back. The front of the Hako is also the short-nosed version. There's, of course, the long-nosed version, which is different for the coupe or the sedan, but when it comes to the wagon type, it is only short-nosed version. There is a bit of a weird classification for this car because in Japan, they classify this bread box-like shape as a van. We understand it as a wagon, but in fact, Nissan themselves in the late 60s, when they launched the Skyline van, they even classified this as a commercial vehicle, which I understand for the last 3 decades as well. This Hakosuka wagon has been treated as a workhorse right down in Sarawak. Now, originally from factory, there used to be a G15 1.5 litre single overhead cam engine underneath here, good for around 85 horsepower. But this is an over 40 years old car now, and the previous owner actually swapped out to this 1.6 litre, which is good for around 90 horsepower apparently, from a Nissan Bluebird. We're not too sure on the history of this car, on exactly what happened to the previous engine, but it's kind of good because this comes with now a 4-speed manual gearbox instead of a 3-speed, and of course it is still rear-wheel drive, just like any other Hako. The best part of it all, of course, is the fact that this is still a Nissan engine, which is still part of the family. We have to also look on the inside. This car being the age, I think the overall condition is pretty good, because even when you look at the trims, it isn't that bad, and there isn't much rust, because if you compare to the cars that I've seen before, whether be it a 510 or even much older cars of this generation like a Fairlady 240Z, this thing can be pretty prone to rust. Now, on the inside, things are pretty retro. To be honest, there isn't that much telltale signs that this is a Skyline, other than some small badges here and there. Even the dials are pretty retro, and the steering is pretty big, which is Skyline right here. Of course, there's also this matched up aftermarket little air conditioning, which is, let's be honest, we're in Malaysia, we're going to need it. But other than that, it's a pretty normal commercial vehicle-like car, and there isn't much telltale signs that this is a special thing. But we know the little telltale signs of a Skyline, and when it comes to the Hakosuka, it is always the pedigree of racing when we think about the GTR generation. But when I'm in here, there isn't much telltale signs of it. Everything is pretty retro, pretty Spartan. Even the seats are like these one-piece sofa-like seats. And of course, I'm pretty sure the seat belts were retrofitted on this car. It's a pretty cool thing. But overall, I think this thing is just so damn cool. And of course, the Hakosuka wagon is an endangered species, not just in Malaysia, but even in Japan. And beyond it all, if you just see this thing on the road, you wouldn't even know that it's a Skyline, except for this signature part right here, which is what they call the surfline body, which is accentuated purely just for the Skyline and the Prince Motor Company back then in the 60s. This is let's be honest, a pretty damn cool thing. Now, in fact, at the time we're recording this thing just landed at our port about 2 hours ago, and we're always happy to share this kind of cool content right here on our channel.